Hello, GM, and welcome to this week's episode of the Solana Changelog, where we talk through all of the latest commits in the Solana developer ecosystem in the past week. We've also seen quite a few very cool hackathon submissions, both coming from the Sandstorm Hackathon by Lamport DAO, and also some really cool ones from the Encode Hackathon as well. So keep those submissions coming in, tweet about it, and hopefully we'll get some nice exposure. Rolling in, proposal highlights, SIMD0008. What do we have?
Sure, yeah. SIMD8 is about fee markets for storage. So as we know, prices for storage change all the time, like your hard drive. The costs are changing throughout the years. So why should it be the same price all the time on the cluster? So that was the question, and now it's been proposed of like, hey, let's have a kind of a fee market for that storage. Or like, hey, based off of the demand for storage in a block or a transaction, let's pay a different amount to load that transaction with different amounts of storage. So that's a really cool proposal. It changes the way that the things happen on the cluster and how much you pay for things like NFTs, token accounts, just literally everything, or programs. It can all change. So it's a proposal. Be sure to, if you wanted to contribute to the discussion, go visit it, go talk about it with the engineers, and let's see where we can go with it.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good, interesting thing too. Also, it seems like, Solana's got a pretty big interest in going with fee markets for a handful of things, or at least trying them out in proposals. So like, just keep in mind, if you guys are going to go like take a look at proposals, or like maybe write one, like maybe start thinking in that vein, like how could fee markets maybe help improve something? Just like, I think people are pretty receptive to ideas around that.
Yep. And I guess it's also quite interesting for the storage one, because I guess that means we may not have like an arbitrary storage limit anymore, where you can now store more than 10 megabytes into a particular account as long as you're willing to pay for it. So I guess, that'll kind of open up some new and different use cases as well. Quite cool.
Right, and then moving on to commits. So there's a number of different cool commits that came out. One of them was that there's now a kind of a reproducible way to do for banking, the banking stage. So it's an online tracer. What it does is it kind of allows you to later, if there's a performance issue in banking that you notice, to later reproduce and examine the issues and debug them. So it's a really cool change, and it will help out the core engineers a ton.
Cool. I also saw the Geyser updates as well. So like they just added, or at least pushing in now, the remaining fields that were missing on Geyser. So I think like recent or previous block hash was one of them. And now, like we were just talking about earlier, like you'll actually be able to build RPC clients on top of Geyser, which is something that like a lot of people have really been waiting for and like interested in doing. So tons of opportunity to increase speed and throughput there, and kind of like offload some of like a lot of reads and maybe even like some writes, who knows, off of the network.
Quite interesting. The one that caught my eye was around some updates to the program test and the Solana test validator. The Token 2022 program has been out for a while. So now there's been an update to both the program test and the Solana test validator to actually include the Token 2022 program by default, and you don't have to like load it in manually yourself. So I think that would hopefully begin to kind of drive some more adoption. People can start testing it natively and kind of see what happens.
Excellent. Great to hear.
And then what resources of the week do we have, Colin?
One that stood out to me was programmable NFTs. And this is the implementation by Metaplex that got released this week. And of course, this is like a very highly contested topic. And there's different competing standards on kind of like what the next asset class of NFTs should look like. But Metaplex released theirs last week. It's definitely worth checking out and kind of like reviewing against some of the other solutions that exist.
Nice. I saw one too. I hope I'm saying this right. Boken. Bokken. Yeah, Boken. It is a debugger for Solana programs. So now you can add like line breaks in your code, and you can run debuggers, which like you might be familiar with from other stuff. So it's huge. Jacob has actually tried it out already, and a lot of good stuff, right?
Yeah, it totally works. From what I can tell, it's. I even chatted with the people that made it. So what you can do is you can actually just like you connect to like there's this Boken kind of RPC. It's a little bit different. It's kind of like a local test validator, and in that, because it's a remote debugger, you can now actually put breakpoints and see like, hey, I sent a transaction. What is the state at the specific line in my program of every
Wow.
account? What are the balances? What are the changes that you can see? So like this could really help people build new programs on Solana, and it could change the game for development.
Oh my God, that's actually unbelievable.
That's really
awesome.
cool.
That's amazing. Good job. Well, honestly, I think that's everything we have for today. So appreciate you guys taking another look again, week after week. Always great to catch up and share some updates. The last thing I do want to mention too before we go is Solana U has started announcing their ambassadors. So take a look on Twitter. You can check out the Solana U Twitter account. These are going to be students who were elected based on like a vote. Like they applied, they got the ambassadorship for Solana U, and that basically means they're going to be helping with like stewarding, adoption of the Solana development community and like turning students who are interested in Web3 onto Solana, and like they're really doing a lot of important work. So keep an eye out for all of them. Take a look for those releases. But until next time, catch you guys next week.
Ciao.